Hey Internet, this is Chaz.
This is Dan. Welcome to Wine is Serious Business, episode 109. We're carrying on today with some of the wines I liked when I was out tasting over Thanksgiving weekend, hitting some local stuff. A couple of different kinds of wine. We got one Pinot Noir and one Sangiovese today, but still current releases from some smaller local producers that I think you should check out. First wine we've got up is the 2010 Lazarus from Matello. His wines have been kind of a regular on the show. Went to check out his new tasting room in McMinnville, which was really nice. And yeah, thought this would be an interesting one to share with you guys.
This wine had a surprisingly large amount of sediment in it, like big, white, chunky sediment. So we decanted it, and it was pretty tight when we first opened it. So wanted to let it get some temperature, increase in temperature, and get some air.
Yeah, it's a good point, I guess. Yeah, if you pick one of those up, look for the sediment so you can pour it slow if you got it.
The nose is still pretty light on this wine. I mean, the color is pretty light. Not as light as that Teutonic wine that we did, but...
In the future.
Oh, in the future? Shit. Is that in the future?
Yeah, that one's in the future. But, you know, you'll see that. Yeah. A little bit of rose petals, and I'm getting something minty, kind of like even in the peppermint direction. It's not like the green leafy mint. But
where is that in the future?
That's the... Well, we've already filmed the New Year's episode.
Oh, shit. See how well I remember that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Come on.
It's fine.
I think we have the same background.
A little bit of a spoiler there.
Yeah, okay. Spoiler alert. Alright. Yeah, so the nose here is pretty light, but...
Right, rose petals, a little bit of peppermint, a little bit of strawberries, I think, too.
Yeah, peppermint are like almost something like a little bit of a green piney quality, like a rosemary or something.
Oh, wow. Yeah, actually that's way more apt than the peppermint.
But there is a minty quality to it, too. There is a green quality to the fruit flavors here, but, you know, really nice red fruits there.
Zippy aromatics. I really like this little touch of rose petal that's going on. Light, clean on the palate, strawberry flavors backed up with a little bit of cherries. Getting a little bit of like cherry stems and pits kind of on the back end, a little bit of that tannic structure there. But not heavy at all. This is like a light and crisp wine all the way across.
I fully agree with that. A little bit of red grape skin coming across too. Like sometimes you can pick that out in a wine. Sort of a chalky feel to the tannins. Like you could almost call it minerality, but it's, I don't know if I'd go there. But the feel is like a chalkiness.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, like leaning in that direction.
Right, and then full on acidity from the start. Right from the get go. All the way, and it's really linear acidity too. It doesn't sort of like spike up or do anything weird during it. It's just really nice, linear, sort of follows the way the delineation of the fruit through the palate. Nice.
It's got kind of a refreshing feel to it. A little bit of that young wine zip with that fresh acidity, fresh fruit kind of sits on the middle of the palate, waters the mouth a little bit. Like it, straight to the point. This is right around $20. I forget the exact price point on this, but you know, plus minus a couple bucks. So right in that neighborhood. Works pretty well for me, I think.
Yeah, easy, delicious Pinot. I would give it another year in bottle. Like it's the acidity and the tannins are still pretty full on. It could probably mellow out a little bit more, but man, it's delicious now. But for drinking now, 87 plus, I would say it would improve over the course of a year or so in bottle.
I'm going to take it to 88, and I think it's pretty much ready right now, and go a shorter window. I could see it getting a little better within 6 months. Even, like there being just a little more integration, but I'm digging it right now. At that price point, I think it's good for drinking straight away.
Yeah, so shit, the integration here is already nice.
Yeah.
Like it's already a fully put together wine. It just needs, I think, to mellow out for my palate.
Cool.
But you know how I like to make jammy wine, so this is not that.
We're just going to move these glasses off to the side. We got Sangiovese. We're not going to drink it out of the Oregon Pinot glass because we got stuff on hand. Great big glasses. With some good
big glasses
stories.
For
So this is the Remy Sangiovese from 2009. This is grown in Washington. It's impossible to judge pours with glasses this big. Yeah, Chaz isn't going anywhere tonight.
So you can really be the sauce boss with this.
Really, yeah.
Dark color.
Swirling.
Shut it back there.
Peanut gallery background. I like the nose better in this than in the little glasses we were doing earlier.
You can swirl the shit out of one of those glasses. That's good.
potty mouth. This is a lot of string. It shows. Dude, make it more work.
It's
for
these
me.
guys over here. They're totally running it for me.
Someone mentioned chocolate-covered cherries earlier. That's more and more apt the more that this wine opens up.
Absolutely.
There's just like this touch of sweetness, kind of some like dark, little dark chocolate with a lot of character to it, and just juicy cherries.
And almost like another thing that was brought up earlier when we were talking about it when we were initially tasting was like port. It's got a sort of like portish quality to it, but not in the sort of like high alcohol over extract. Well, maybe a little bit, but it's got that sort of quality to the nose. So,
which works for me.
It smells delicious.
Yeah,
yeah.
I can kind of see where you're coming from.
It's rich.
I don't think I'd mistake it for port, but in the spectrum,
Absolutely
like
not.
it's more in that spectrum.
Well, let's try it.
And she makes big wines generally, I think, too. My experience with her, like that Barbera you had, I'm sure was, yeah.
The Barbera he's talking about was a 2007 Remy Barbera, and it was killer. Blew it up on Cellar Tracker. Anyway.
Cherries rolling in on the palate,
yeah.
just on the nose. Getting a little bit of evolution on them on the back end. There's a little bit of tartness, a little bit of complexity to the cherries that comes in. That's kind of what caught me about it when I tasted it. It was a little later in the day, so like these fruit flavors kind of popped up more. The chocolate from the nose is making a bit of a showing too, but it's not nearly as dominant on the palate, to me, as it was on the nose.
The cherries here for me are definitely a little candified. Like there is definitely sort of a reductive quality to the way the cherries come across on the palate. This is feeling a little softer than on my initial taste of it though. And I'm liking it a little better. The acidity is sort of pairing well, whereas before the acidity was really strong. Still, I need to take a taste of it.
The acidity is definitely full, and it gets big on the back end. It's like water in the mouth, definitely like kind of sitting in the corners. And there's some full tannins. They got a good firmness to them. They're not too heavy, but it's definitely it's definitely on the bigger side.
It is on the bigger side.
Which you're not drinking Pinot Noir.
Absolutely not. Definitely a step in the other direction from the Matello. There's a stemmy quality to them. I don't know that I get. There's a lot of cherry fruit there. Man, there's a weight and a richness too that come across on it that some people may find nice, but it's a little bit too much for me right now. Still good, obviously a well-done wine, but the alcohol, there is an obvious amount of alcohol in the finish too. That's definitely apparent. It's definitely hot once you swallow it. Yeah, I don't know. It's good. It's obviously good wine, but just not in my not in what I like. So for me, 84 points.
All right.
It's just not. It's not what I like. So.
And this gets back into kind of what caused me to want to bring it on the show. I think the stuff works pretty well together. I think it does have kind of that firm feeling on the back end, but I think it's put together well, and I think that feeling of richness adds some kind of excitement to it, makes me think about it a little more, makes it a little compelling. I find it enjoyable. 88 points for me. This is also in the $20-ish price point, and I think if you're looking for a bigger wine from from local producers doing something interesting with Italian grapes, check it out.
Full disclosure, I tend to not like Sangiovese. It's
Sure.
just one grape varietal that I just haven't been able to get behind. I know people are going to be like, wine hater. No, it's just something about the varietal, and maybe that's preconceived notion going into this, but there is just.
I didn't know that till tonight.
Something about this wine that I mean, it's obviously. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this wine, but for me, it's just not for me. So.
On to the question of the day. Some big news this week, right? So we shoot this a little ahead too. Jay Miller retired from the Wine Advocate recently. He's no longer the Oregon reviewer for the Wine Advocate. David Schilknack took over, and I think that makes me the biggest Oregon wine reviewer in the business by weight. Thanks for watching.
Christ.
Tell me if I'm wrong. I want comments to back that up.
Question.
Am I right? See you later.